It's Monday, the 19th of March, 2012, and in this Boardroom Talk special podcast, Selwyn Kahanovitz, the Chief Executive of Litha Healthcare, joins us. Selwyn, you've got results out today for the year to end December. They had to be good. Your share price has been moving in the last 3 months, up by 54%. Have you been doing anything in particular to generate this interest in the stock?
Well, I think, our strategy on the pharma side, which we set up when we listed on the main board in 2010, was around building scale in our pharma division. And I think last year we were quite active in making a few acquisitions. We did a small one in Goldex in May 2011 from Durban, and then OTC in December where we finalized that deal. So I think there was quite a bit of activity on that side.
So people are now seeing that you perhaps fulfilled your ambition of being bigger.
Yeah, I think so. I think, in the pharma space, you need to have scale, and you can get it a number of ways. One, through acquisition, which, with the way that it takes in terms of getting dossiers or products approved at the MCC, it takes quite a while. So the easiest way to get that scale quicker is through some acquisitions, which is what we did. And as you know, we announced 2 or 3 weeks ago our acquisition with PharmaPlan, which for us is our single biggest milestone for our business since we've listed at 2010, in terms of really putting our business on its head. It's a big acquisition for us. It's a medium-sized pharma business. There are not that many of them around, and it really positions us well going forward.
How long did you look at the PharmaPlan acquisition?
Well, we were talking to them 2 or 3 years ago for a short period, and then again towards the end of last year we started talking to them again.
And why does it fit so well into your group?
It really fits so well for us. The PharmaPlan business is speciality or specialist driven. So their products are niche. They specific products. There are not that many generics on those products around, and they go to the specialist, get the specialist to do the scripting, and less competitive in that space, as well as being strong in private hospital for their products. So for us, they were in a particular area where we aren't. We're a little bit stronger in the prescribing GP, the branded product going to the prescribing GP, as well as in pharmacy, back shop and front shop. So it was really no duplication from our perspective, different businesses, and I think going forward, when we integrate, it'll be much easier because we can use each other's strengths, in going forward.
Many people know Aspen. It's been one of the best performers in the JSE. Are you similar to them in any respect?
No, not at all. No, we're very different. We're a diversified healthcare business, so we have 3 divisions. We've got a vaccine division of our biotechnology, we've got our medical device division, and then our pharma division. And I don't know if you recall, there was a business on the Alt Exchange called Myriad Medical, and in essence, we reversed into them and then moved to the main board. So we've really got all the medical device assets from Myriad. So again, it's very different to Aspen.
Do you manufacture much?
We don't do any manufacture in pharmaceuticals or in devices. We do some local packaging and assembling on the device side. Our vaccine play is it's a public-private partnership with government, where government own 47.5% of the Biovac Institute, and our consortium owned 52.5%, with the objective to create vaccine manufacturing capacity to produce in South Africa for South Africa and for the region.
I didn't see anything in your numbers or the commentary to your numbers complaining about the allocation of the antiretrovirals and the way that government's been dealing with these things. We've seen that from pretty much everybody else. Is that because it didn't affect you, or are you a beneficiary?
Yeah, we're not in antiretrovirals at all. We don't. We're not in that space. So it doesn't affect us.
So what vaccines are you doing with the government?
We do all the pediatric vaccines, which is the measles, polio, the combinations, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, hepatitis B, Haemophilus. So it's all the vaccines that when a child's born, you get free immunization to the age of 5, and we supply all of those vaccines.
And where do you get them from?
They're all imported at the moment, and we're trying to set up capacity to start locally producing some of those vaccines.
It's a very interesting market, pharmaceuticals. I guess being so interesting and so complex, most of us don't really understand what it is that drives your profits, particularly as government wants to put a cap on it. So how would you be able to show 28% headline earnings growth in that kind of restrictive, constrictive environment?
Well, I think at the moment, being diversified, our operating margin, you see, has reduced a little bit. I think it's just over 8%. And a lot of that is to do with the mix. Again, when the business was purely medical devices, the mix is different to what it is now.
Medical devices, what's that?
The medical devices is the old Myriad business, which it would be your consumables, blood filters, syringes, needles, gloves, specialized niche devices that are used in the private hospital and the public sector. So all of it's all imported devices that are supplied to various parts of the private hospital. It goes into theatre or into the ward.
Can you pass on price increases there?
No, there's been a lot of price pressure downwards on those.
So if the rand were to weaken, you would be exposed?
Yeah, it's and it has been a bit volatile last year, as you know. And in fact, in our we mentioned that there was a 27 million rand loss in terms of foreign exchange, and a lot of that was to do with our vaccine division, but it also did have some impact in the medical devices and the pharmaceuticals.
So you've done this big acquisition, you've got a new head office, you've moved companies into the head office and make mention of the fact that you should be able to squeeze out some, I don't think you used that horrible word, synergies, but you know what I mean. As a result of that, is it all going according to plan?
Yeah, I think we as you say, we've got our head office now. We're starting to move our people in, and we reckon by the middle to end of 2012, we should have everyone there. And we should start getting those synergies and starting to get some of those cost benefits, reducing duplication. And so for us, things are on track. This acquisition now it's only effective 1st of July. So we will try and bed down our acquisitions from last year, which is the OTC and the Goldex. And OTC is based in Cape Town, and they should all be moving. The stock should move up in the next month or two. Goldex is already at our warehouse in Midrand. However, on the pharma plan, that'll only be post 1st July, so it'll take a little bit longer. So we hope by the end of the year to have bedded down most of the integration issues that needed to be dealt with.
Two questions that are immediately arisen in this case. The one is, 80% of mergers fail. What's your hit rate been?
Well, we've had, I think the Litha Myriad merger for me has been successful. I mean, I think we certainly made an impact on the business. We brought in our shared services. We've pulled that together quite nicely. Made it a lot more diversified. So broadened out the product categories. The acquisitions post that, which is the Farm Africa and the Goldex, seem to have been bedded down nicely. I think the key now is our pharma plan, because that'll really turn our business on its head, in terms of it being a pharmaceutical play. It'll be a lot bigger. If you just look at our businesses, excluding the pharma plan, if you annualize it, it's maybe 149 million on the pharma side. And with the pharma plan, their numbers last year was 380 million. So if you just use that number plus our 150, so it's a very different business.
So your record so far has been better than 80% failure.
Yep.
The second question is, we've seen over the years many companies that have come to the JSE and gone on an acquisition trail and then crashed and burned. What's going to make you different?
I think if you see the makeup of our pharma plan transaction, and that also makes it very exciting for us. One of the biggest shareholder for pharma plan is a company called Paladin. They on the Toronto Stock Exchange in pharmaceuticals. Their play is very similar to pharma plan, niched, speciality, innovator-driven products. And in the transaction that we've now done with pharma plan, we're retaining them as our single largest shareholders. So Paladin, in the way the transaction works, purchases the balance of the 55% in pharma plan, and at the same time buy 50% of the Blackstar stake that Blackstar had in Litha. And as you know, Blackstar's, they invested in the Myriad business right at the beginning. And Blackstar will then stay with 13% in Litha. However, Paladin become our single biggest shareholder with 44%. And that for us is exciting because they know the game, they know the business. They want to get into the developing world, so Africa is important for them, and they see Litha as their partner to do it.
And how big are they?
Well, they have a market cap of close to $1 billion, and their turnover is about $150 million a year. That's Canadian. Again, they're niched and high profits. and innovative type products where there are not that many competitors. So they're not in the trenches of generic business.
Because you the opportunity, presumably, to move north.
Exactly.
And what plans do you have, or when might those plans come to fruition, given that you've still got a lot to bed down?
Yeah, we've got a lot to do, and we need to get our South African business right, and then we need to use our South African business, all the product range that we have here, to start duplicating into Africa. But that's really, we will be looking at specific markets and do it slowly, but we need to get the integration right, get this year behind us, and slowly move into Africa.
With so much integration and bedding down in the next financial year to December 2012, are you likely to be able to repeat this 28% growth rate?
Well, we're going to work hard, heads down. But as you know, the farmer plan deal only kicks in from 1st of July, so we need to work hard at it.
All right. So these are really good results for the last financial year. Perhaps a year of catching your breath, and 2013, 2014,
exactly.
Excitement coming back again.
Exactly.
And the kind of shareholder that invests in Litha?
We've got, as you know, we've got the Paladin now that'll have 44. Black Star's been a keen supporter.
If you're talking to many shareholders,
we've got about a 25-30% float. A lot of, smaller stockbrokers, I think, have a lot of interest in Litha.
So it would be, where I'm trying to get to is the kind of person who it would appeal to: widows and orphans, growth related, value related. Who would, someone perhaps with a touch of risk tolerance?
Yeah, I think so. They've got to see a bit of the end game. They've got to see in our vaccines, the blue sky that we see, the importance of vaccine manufacture. But it is something that takes time. Even in terms of a pipeline product at the MCC, takes 3-4 years to come through. So it's not a quick fix, and it's, one has to really build at it, work hard, put your head down.
But if you break it down into, or distill it into what your appeal is, you've got the joint venture with government. You've also got this big Canadian shareholder who would be looking to use you to go into the African continent. So those would be presumably the two bullish, almost bullish factors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Selwyn Kahanovitz is the Chief Executive of Litha Healthcare.